If you're not a Celtics fan, I'm willing to bet you've barely noticed this guy. You check the box score, you see about 13 minutes, 4 points, maybe a couple of rebounds, and your brain immediately moves on. Nothing to see here. Just another rookie filling space until the real players check back in. That reaction isn't laziness. It's conditioning. We've all been trained to equate value with volume. If the points aren't there, we assume the impact isn't either. We've been taught, consciously or not, to skim the box score, scan the top scorers, and move on to the next game.
You're beyond Pritchard's hit. Oh, Hugo with a big-time steal. He's making winning plays, Thiago.
It's how most fans survive an 82-game season. It's also how important players get missed. That's how players like this slip through the cracks. Because basketball culture, especially online, rewards loudness. Big nights, big clips, big takes. The louder the production, the faster the praise. Quiet competence doesn't trend. It doesn't get thumbnails. It doesn't get debates. There's no montage for was always in the right spot. But then you actually watch the games, not highlights. Not the 2 clips that float around on social media. The actual games, with the boring possessions included. The dead balls, the broken plays, the moments where nothing happens, and then suddenly something does. You watch the second unit minutes. You watch the weird lineups. You watch the possessions where stars are resting and the game should feel sloppy. And after about 5 minutes, something feels off. Because the Celtics look sharper when he's out there. The rotations are cleaner. The ball moves with less friction. The spacing feels intentional instead of accidental. The other team looks slightly irritated, like their stuff isn't landing the way it usually does. Not frustrated, irritated. Like something small is bothering them and they can't quite put a finger on it. You notice it in the margins. A dribble picked up early. A shooter hesitating just long enough to lose rhythm. A ball handler turning his back because the help's already there, even though it doesn't look like it should be. You notice cutters getting bumped off their lines. You notice passing windows closing half a second earlier than expected. You notice plays dying quietly instead of exploding loudly. These aren't plays you clip. They're plays you feel. And you start asking the dangerous question. Wait, who is this guy? But before we start, if you love basketball and you're one of the 90% who watch without subscribing, it's time to join the NBA Inside family. Click it and let's live this season together. Hugo Gonzalez, 19 years old, the 28th pick in the 2025 draft.
Hugo Gonzalez from Madrid and last played for Real Madrid.
Not a lottery savior, not a future face of the league, just a late first-round swing that most people forgot about 5 minutes after the selection graphic disappeared. The kind of pick analysts describe as situational. The kind of pick fans barely remember by December. The kind of player opposing broadcasts mispronounce for half a season. The kind of rookie who usually lives in garbage time, or on the bench, or in the G League. And somehow he's become one of the most quietly important rookies in the NBA. This isn't a hidden superstar story. This isn't a give him more shots and watch what happens argument. This is about something rarer. This is about a rookie who makes winning easier without ever demanding attention. Coming into the draft, Gonzalez wasn't sold as NBA ready. His numbers in Europe didn't pop. Last season with Real Madrid, he barely played. About 8 minutes a night in the EuroLeague. Under 2 points per game. Shot under 30% from 3. Grabbed a rebound or 2 if the ball happened to bounce his way. Those numbers don't excite anyone. They don't inspire optimism. They don't sell upside. They're the kind of numbers people use as shorthand to write a player off. To say he's not ready, or he's years away, or he's just depth. But context matters. He wasn't playing for a rebuilding club. He wasn't being handed developmental reps. He was playing for Real Madrid, not a development team, not a rebuilding project. A veteran-loaded contender where mistakes don't get explained, they get punished. If you miss a rotation, you sit. If you force a shot, you disappear. If you don't defend, you don't play. There's no patience there. No long leash. No, he's young, he'll figure it out. You either help the team win or you're invisible. So Gonzalez learned early that if you wanted to stay on the floor, you had to do everything that doesn't show up in highlights. Defend without fouling. Rotate on time even if no one claps. Make the extra pass instead of the clever one. Sprint back even when the possession feels dead. Screen hard even if you'll never touch the ball. And never, ever ask for more. That environment doesn't create stars. It creates professionals. Boston saw that. They didn't draft the stat line. They drafted how he reacted after a mistake, how he sprinted back after a missed shot, how he stayed connected to the play when the ball swung away from him, how he defended actions before they fully developed instead of reacting late. Those things don't jump off a scouting report. They show up when you slow the tape down. And when you drop a player like that into a system as demanding as Boston's, those habits don't just survive, they multiply. Now let's talk about numbers for a second, because the numbers here are impossible to ignore. As of January 16, 2026, Hugo Gonzalez leads all rookies in total plus-minus at plus 186. That's not a typo. Not plus 186 per game, not per 100 possessions. Total. The Celtics are simply better when he's on the floor, by a lot, and he's doing it while averaging under 4 points per game. That should immediately slow you down, because it forces you to ask what he's doing that isn't being tracked cleanly. Boston's outscoring opponents by 5.3 points per game when he's on the floor. He's shooting 48.7% from the field, and while his three-point volume is slow, his shot selection never clogs possessions.
Back in the paint, kicks it out. Hugo attacks the closeout. Hugo soars in and scores.
No usage spike, no heat checks, no let me see if I've got it tonight. Just impact. And yes, plus-minus isn't perfect. It's context-heavy. It can lie. It can flatter the right situations. But when a low-usage 19-year-old consistently lifts lineups in a championship contender, that's not noise. That's the game telling you something works. He's not changing games by scoring. He's changing games by refusing to break anything. Landing in Boston matters here more than people realize. This isn't a team where you get minutes because you're young. This isn't a team where development excuses exist. This is a team where every possession is evaluated through a title lens. If you miss a rotation, someone else takes your minutes. If you freelance, the leash gets short fast. If you hesitate, the ball doesn't come back. And that trust is real. Gonzalez has already started 2 games this season due to injuries. Not because they needed offense, not because they were experimenting, because Joe Mazzulla trusted him to keep the structure intact from the opening tip. That's rare. That's earned. Defensively, he's a problem in the least flashy way possible. He switches across positions without looking surprised. He doesn't overhelp and abandon shooters. He tags rollers early. He closes out under control. He reads the floor like someone who's been in pro systems for a decade. Adjusted for possessions, his steal rate is hovering around 3%, which puts him among the elite wings in the league. That's almost unheard of for a 19-year-old rookie playing real minutes on a contender. That's why scouts are calling him the ultimate connector. He's the glue guy who lets stars rest, the stabilizer who keeps lineups from bleeding points, the rookie who makes veterans breathe easier, the player coaches trust without having to explain why. That role matters more than people want to admit, because what makes Hugo Gonzalez interesting isn't upside, it's survivability. His limitations don't hurt the lineup. He doesn't hijack possessions. He doesn't miss rotations. He doesn't chase stats to prove he belongs. If his catch-and-shoot 3 improves, the role grows. If it doesn't, he still sticks. Players who understand this at 19 usually find a way to stay in the league for a long time. So let me ask you this. How many rookies do you trust late in games without calling a play for them? Because Boston already trusts this one. And that might be more valuable than any stat line you'll scroll past. What do you think about Hugo Gonzalez? Do you see this 19-year-old carving out a long NBA career? Or is this just a perfect system amplifying his strengths? Drop your thoughts below and keep an eye on him, because the guys who don't ask for attention usually end up earning it anyway.